Tuned in to the show this beautiful Wednesday morning. Welcome and thank you for joining us. And now, today being a Wednesday, of course, we usually have women at the forefront as one of the segments running on this particular day. And today I'll be having a poet who does a lot of other things. She's a poet, she's a psychologist, she's a mental health advocate as well. Her name is Maureen Angare, and she's also the founder of Hearted Stories. And she'll be here for us to just talk about poetic healing, and we'll be looking at ways in which you can build safe spaces for mental resilience in Kenya, and specifically through poetry. That is what we will be having later on at around 9 a.m. So do stay tuned for that as well. Mike.
The best part of being of watching Good Morning Kenya is that you can be part of every conversation happening right here. Find us on social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Remember, you can also send in your text via 0707-303-212. So I invite you to be part of every conversation. And speaking of conversation, today I want us to look at Kenya's SMEs, because they account to 90% roughly and employ millions of people within the country. And even as such, many of them grapple with different challenges, starting from high taxations, expensive electricity, and a host of other challenges. But on the other hand, the AFCFTA opens up a market of about 1.4 billion people. That is at the continental level. Question is, can Kenya's SMEs become competitive regionally and globally, given the kind of market access they have, and also given the kind of challenges they have? That is a conversation I'll be having with Cyprian Ongeri, who is the co-founder and lead consultant, GFC Africa. That conversation will be coming to you at around 8 a.m. I invite you to be part of this live broadcast. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning to you, guys. There's a lot that is happening in as far as news is concerned.
Yes.
Government is working, or rather proposing, full university funding, and this comes amid budgetary shortfalls. We're looking at around 57 billion shillings. That is a current funding gap with universities, and now this is the fourth proposal in as far as a model to fund universities. And there's been a lot of talk after the president unveiled plans to introduce these particular models with various stakeholders, including parents, just going back and asking government to instead focus on, the school capitation that also drew a lot of comment earlier this year with stakeholders, parents, teachers, as well as those who are in the education system, saying that the monies allocated to the schools is too little to accommodate everybody. Further still on matters education is that schools have up until Friday to update their learners' data, with the Ministry of Education opining that the lack of data is affecting even the funding and the textbook distribution. So much is happening in as far as news is concerned. And more so, I'd want to read just the front page of the Standard this morning, and just show you a sneak peek here. The Standard. So we have been following up on the last moments. That is the court views of CCTV footage of Ojwang killings. That is Albert Ojwang. That has been the center stage, or rather the main story from the corridors of justice. And today's front page is boycott. You're talking about lawyers who are boycotting judges. That is quite a read there, and we're going to also bring you up to speed. Now, lawyers have boycotted judges as a fresh bid to remove Kome, that is CJ Kome, deepens troubles. Which direction will this take? So this and so much more coming up in the news updates. Remember, you can be part of this conversation. Get us on X at KBC Channel 1. I am Regina Manyara. Now we start off with an update on the government changes that were instituted yesterday night, with having deployments and, shifts within government. Let's have that particular piece running right now. It seems that is not ready. How about you take a quick break? We'll be right back. Remember, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. Welcome back. You're watching In the Headlines on Good Morning Kenya here on KBC Channel 1. Now that particular update. Now, former police spokesperson Charles Owino has been appointed the new government spokesperson, taking over from Isaac Mwaura, who has been moved to head of new Office of Diversity, Inclusion and Disability Rights in the Office of the President. Lawyer Duncan Ojwang has been nominated for the position of chairman of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. If successful, Ojwang will replace Isaac Hassan, who was appointed judge of the Court of Appeal in February.
In changes announced Tuesday evening by the head of public service, Felix Koskei, President William Ruto has made new state appointments and nominations of persons to various institutions. Former police spokesperson and acting head of government communications, Charles Owino, has been appointed as the new government spokesperson. Owino will take over from Isaac Mwaura, who has served in the position since October 2023.
Our budget for the whole year.
On his side, Mwaura has been redesignated as head of the Office of Diversity, Inclusion and Disability Rights in the Office of the President. Lawyer Duncan Ojwang, in the meantime, has been nominated to serve as the new chairman of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, pending approval by the National Assembly. The seat became vacant following the successful appointment of former IBC chairperson Isaac Hassan as a judge of the Court of Appeal. Former NAT Secretary General Wilson Sosion and Antonina Lento-Ijoni have been nominated to serve as members of the Teacher Service Commission, pending approval by the National Assembly. While Flora Mutua has been nominated to serve as member of the Public Service Commission. The President has further nominated Wilson Kuria, Sylvia Pa, Ahmed Kanyara, Pascaline Kimiriri, Ken Riaga, Evelyn Chepkirui, and journalist Mary Kilobi to serve as members of the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, pending approval by National and County Government Coordinating Summit.
Interesting changes there. We're going to continue keeping tabs on those developments there, with a few names popping up and linked to various government officials and such. We'll keep tabs on that. Now, the late Albert Ojwang's murder trial at the Kibera High Court entered the second day on Tuesday. A protected witness who has 10 years of experience in the National Police Force told the court that the cell sentry officer on duty is the only personnel with the authority to give access to the cells. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, the head of forensics at the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority confirmed Albert Ojwang arrived at Nairobi Central Police Station alive but left while unresponsive.
Day 2 hearing of Albert Ojwang's murder trial at Kibera High Court, and the court was taken through a chronology of events. On the day, the teacher and blogger was brought to the Central Police Station in Nairobi. The question of who had authority to access the holding cells at the station took center stage.
Instance where a person who is not a police officer is authorized to have a key to any of the cells at the Central Police Station? No. Not at all. And in such instances, let's say for example, if it is found that the key of the cells is in the wrong hands, who takes the responsibility?
The OCS is reported to the OCS, and immediately the padlocks are changed.
And immediately the padlocks are changed.
A witness referred to as AAA informed Justice Diana Kavesa that access to the cells was limited to authorized persons only. But during cross-examination, defense lawyers sought to establish whether senior officers, like an officer commanding station or his deputy, could bypass those procedures. Defense also poked holes in the movement of officers and unidentified civilians captured at the station on CCTV footage that was played in court.
Duty that morning for the purpose of the records office, were you relieving anybody?
No.
You are not. If a duty officer during his entire duty roster, our 24-hour, did not check the cell it would concern the running of the station.
Yes.
It would concern. So people are candidates.
The court was also told that Police Constable Peter Kimani was the cell sentry officer at the Central Police Station on the night Ojwang was brought in. Kimani allegedly gave co-accused Constable James Mukwana and unidentified men access to the cells before they emerged 15 minutes later, hiding their faces from the CCTV cameras.
Entrance for a while. A and D are captured talking at the station entrance for a while, and they are joined by I.
An independent policing oversight authority forensic expert who took to the witness box in the afternoon testified that after CCTV footage analysis, he identified the Deputy OCS Samuel Nganga and Constable James Mukwana holding several meetings with the OCS Samson Talam.
Ojwang arrived while able to walk within the Central Police Station, and he is seen making phone calls within the premises of the Central Police Station.
Talam, Mukwana, Kimani and 3 civilians are charged with the murder of teacher cum blogger Albert Omondi Ojwang on Saturday, June 7, 2025. According to the CCTV footage that was played in court on Tuesday at exactly 1:21 a.m., the late Albert Ojwang is seen being carried by 4 policemen inside a police vehicle, with the then OCS Samson Talam seen flagging off his deputy and 2 other police officers as the car moves out of Central Police Station. The hearing continues on Wednesday, 22nd July. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Kibera, Law Court.
Quite a chilling account there that has also made its way to the various dailies. And one quote is, at the holding area, Talam holds their officers, as in quotes, guns and hands. One of them, more gloves as they exit. Then they put the lifeless body of Ojwang into the vehicle at 1:20 a.m. on 8th of June 2025. That's just but an excerpt of the CCTV footage description there. Ruth Wamboi will continue keeping tabs on the developments from the courts today, being that it is Wednesday, the 22nd of July. Now, President William Ruto has called on security agencies to take action on individuals engaging in criminal activities in line with the law. The head of state said the nation can no longer tolerate destruction of property and engagement in goonism, especially during political gatherings and demonstrations.
Following repeated incidents of violence recorded across the country and linked to funding of goons, President William Ruto has sounded a warning to the goons and their sponsors, saying the government will not spare them.
Some people arrested, with criminality, taken to court. They're given a bond of 200 shillings. They live there, because they're our children. And then they go on. They now go to political rallies. And then we have goons. And then I don't know whether we want to say again, these are our children.
The head of state said although there is need to dialogue with those who genuinely demonstrate on the streets, the government would not tolerate lawlessness, calling on the security apparatus to take action to protect lives and property.
Now that we have a consensus, our security agencies must do their job. Within the law, they must do their job and they must stop criminality.
The president said through decisive measures taken during demonstrations, barring protesters from gaining access to the central business district, property has been protected from destruction and looting.
I am very happy that the last time there was an attempt for criminality in town and we stopped it, many Kenyans agreed that no, it's now time. Every sector of our society have all agreed that having lawlessness, goons and all these other characters, criminals, should be stopped.
Ruto, at the same time, said the government is working towards attaining universal access to higher education by ensuring learners who pass their exams are funded to pursue higher education. He made the remarks at State House, Nairobi, while receiving the report dubbed Developing a New Vision for Kenya.
What do you think about that particular call by the president over the issue of criminality and goonism? Get us on X at KBC Channel 1. Now, a cloud of mourning and despair hovers over a family in Dendero village, Kiamba constituency in Kiambu County. This is after a fundraising efforts failed to making it possible to bring back home the body for the burial of their loved one who died in a road accident in Lebanon.
This quiet village of Ndenderu in Kiamba constituency, Kiambu County, sadness is evident on the faces of the family members of the late Lucy Wanjiru Nduta. Lucy died on May 17, 2026 in a road accident in Lebanon. She moved to the Middle East 2 years ago to look for greener pastures.
Tumefuatililia, tumeenda kwa ofisi za Foreign Affairs and everything, tukapewa quotation na tukapewa time limit ya 45 days tukue tumeweza kuraise hizo pesa zinahitajika ndo tuweze kurudisha mwili ya Wanjiru Kenya.
Tents have been erected here. Funeral preparations are underway, but there's no body to bury.
Sisi tunajiomba kama watu wa familia tuweze kupata zile pesa. Tupata wenye watu wataingilia hii jambo kama serikali, kanisa, watu wale wanatakia watu mema wanajitolea. Sasa ndio tuweze kwenda mbali.
According to family members, they're supposed to raise 600,000 shillings to repatriate the remains of their loved one from Lebanon.
Serikali ikaweze kushughulikia mambo kama hayo kulingana na agent zile wamelipia. Hizo pesa ambazo wamelipia ziwe ni za kushughulikia mambo kama haya.
One can channel their assistance via M-Pesa to James Mugai on mobile number 0142619159 or via paybill number 4325445. Account is your name.
Remember, a giving hand is always willing to receive. You can get further details on our website in regard to that particular family's call for support, www.kbc.co.ke. Now, the Ministry of Health says that 4 out of every 10 babies are still not exclusively breastfed during the first 6 months of life, while another 40% miss the opportunity to begin breastfeeding within the first hour after birth. Speaking in Nairobi County ahead of the World Breastfeeding Week in 2026, to be marked starting the 1st of August, Primary Healthcare Director in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Joel Ngondi, further expressed concern over increased use of milk substitutes, exposing babies to risk of infection, malnutrition, and chronic disease in later life.
Despite significant strides in promoting breastfeeding, the Ministry of Health says Kenya's exclusive breastfeeding rate currently stands at 60%, still falling short of the country's ambition of at least 80%.
All the babies that were born between 2014 and 2022, when we conducted our KDHS, Kenya Demographic Health Survey, only 60% were exclusive breastfed. So ask yourself, where is this 40%?
Almost all mammals breastfeed exclusively until that time that their children transition. Where did we lose it as humans?
Nutrition experts, while acknowledging exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months as one of the most effective interventions for child survival, cautioned against undermining the Breast Milk Substitute Act.
Our bottle feeding rates have moved from 26% to 34%, meaning that mothers are giving their babies formula feed.
The Ministry of Health says many working mothers still lack breastfeeding rooms, flexible working arrangements, and adequate support after maternity leave.
Imagine breastfeeding your baby in a toilet. Yet, we are supposed to provide a room. The Health Act 2017 has given us that direction, that we are supposed to provide a room whereby breastfeeding mothers can breastfeed their babies comfortably.
As the country prepares to commemorate World Breastfeeding Week in Murang'a County beginning August 1st, the ministry is urging all sectors to strengthen policies and community support systems to ensure every child receives the healthiest possible start in life.
This year's World Breastfeeding Week will be commemorated globally from 1st to 7th August 2026 under the theme Breastfeeding, a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthen What Works.
Kenya targets to leapfrog into a first world economy by 2060, according to a new economic blueprint developed by the government. Now, the report says the country will invest trillions of shillings in modern infrastructure, renewable energy, education, and research development. The new policy document borrows heavily from Vision 2030 blueprint, whose lifespan elapses in 3 years' time.
For nearly 2 decades, Vision 2030 has served as Kenya's national development blueprint, guiding investments aimed at transforming the country into a lower middle-income economy. Launched in 2008 under former President Mwai Kibaki's administration, the strategy was anchored on 3 pillars: economic, social, and political, with flagship projects spanning transport infrastructure, energy, ICT, manufacturing, education, and governance reforms. With 3 years to go, the government is now laying the foundation for the country's next long-term development agenda.
Let us approach this task with confidence, humility, and a shared purpose, determined to leave to the future generations not merely a stable economy, but a stronger nation.
President William Ruto has on Tuesday afternoon received the draft blueprint, which was developed by a team led by Kisumu Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, Professor Michael Shege, Professor Karuti Kanyinga, and Professor Peter Wanyande.
As government, we shall now study this proposal carefully. We shall engage with its recommendations, consult widely, reflect on the ideas this proposal advances, and once that process has been concluded, I will communicate the way forward as we shape Kenya's next long-term national vision.
The report proposes strategic investments in key sectors including education, where increased government support for university students has been identified as a priority, alongside expanded investments in the energy sector to support industrialization and economic growth.
Going forward, any university, any student, so long as they have passed their exam and they have been placed in a college or a university, each one of them will get full funding for their higher education. It will be the choice of parents if they want to pay. But if parents don't want to pay, we now have a model that will pay for every child.
The new vision seeks to catapult Kenya into a first world economy by the year 2060 through investment in strategic sectors.
This great country of ours can become a first world country in our generation. It is doable. Play your part.
President Ruto has urged Kenyans to embrace the proposed vision, saying national progress will depend on collective commitment and confidence in the country's potential.
The next chapter of Kenya's development cannot be written by government. It must be shaped by the collective wisdom, experience, and participation of the Kenyan people.
And now that effectively takes us to sports, where Team Kenya for the 21st World Athletics Under-20 Championship continued its training at the Nyayo Stadium ahead of the global event set for Oregon in the United States from the 5th to the 9th of next month. The team aims to improve on its 2024 performance after securing 3 gold, 3 silver and a bronze medal.
The team of 23 athletes, consisting of 12 boys and 11 girls, has been in a residential training camp since early this month under the guidance of head coach Robert Ngisrei, who has led the youth teams for over 10 years.
15 ikakuwa ngumu, nikakuja nikajaribia 800 nikakimbia. Nikakimbia 800 nikakuja nikakuwa na time ya 146. Then nikaona 800 nilikuwa natafuta speed. Then nikarudi nikaanza kukimbia 15.
Among the athletes in the US-bound team are last year's African Youth Games champion in the 1500 meters, David Kapaiko, and the Africa Under-18 champion in the 3000 meters, Cynthia Chepkurui, who are aiming for a podium finish on the global stage as a springboard for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, USA.
Workout in the speed na kupiga hizo ma 100 ili finishing ni kwa sawa. Ndio nilikuwa nimeona for mistake ni yangu ilikuwa tu finishing ilikuwa, kwa hivyo hiyo 100 nikipiga 200 nitakuwa best na nitakuwa hope itakuwa maneno itakuwa sawa.
The team's captain Joylin Chepkemoi is optimistic about concluding her under-20 championship well before transitioning to the senior level. She will be returning to the USA 7 months after being part of the World Cross Country senior women's team that won silver in Tallahassee.
Tumekaa salama, hatujapata any injuries. Athletes wote wako salama. Kila mtu ako na afya smart na tunashukuru tena coaches wetu. Wametupea program yenye ni smart, haicha affect any athlete. Tuko sawa kabisa.
While some athletes will be carrying the Kenyan flag for the first time, others will be making their last appearance in the junior event before joining the senior ranks. The championship will mark 40 years since its inception as it returns to the iconic Hayward Field at the University of Oregon, which also hosted the 2022 World Athletics Championships.
258 is the number of Commonwealth Games, medals that Kenya has won thus far. So we wish the team of 23 all the very best ahead of that particular global showpiece. Now, talking about sports, we just ended the World Cup, and if you have been checking updates on social media and such, as well as mainstream media, there is one man who said that the pain is immense. I'm quoting none other than Lionel Messi after the loss to Spain in the World Cup. But nonetheless, as we say, KBC is indeed your true sports partner. This is just to announce that KBC Channel 1 is going to be bringing you live matches from the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And on the first day, that is the 25th of July, 26th that is Sunday, we're going to have matches lined up from as early as 8 p.m. where Algeria will be squaring it out with Senegal. Then at 11 p.m. Sunday the 26th, Morocco is going to be taking on Kenya, while Monday the 27th we're going to have South Africa and Tanzania. So do keep it right here. We're going to be keeping you updated on what is happening in this particular Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And as far as developing stories is concerned, all focus is now onto the corridors of justice. Why? Because the hearings in regard to the circumstances surrounding the death of teacher Albert Ojwang continue today at the courts. We have Ruth Wamboi is keeping tabs on that, and it's a case of who is going to blink first as lawyers continue to boycott the judges as they want the ouster of CJ Kome there. Those are just some of the developing stories that you're going to be keeping tabs on. I'm Regina Manyara. I want to hand you over to the rest of the team, back to the team as we discuss matters politics, governance and leadership. Over to you, Victor.
Mkulima wa wiki hii ni mwanamke bomba aliyejitosa katika kilimo biashara.
Chakula yao ya kwanza tunapatia saa 12 asubuhi. Ya pili tunawapatia saa 6 mchana. Alafu ikienda kidogo mpaka saa 9 hivi, saa 11 tunafunga mambo ya chakula. Lakini maji inaenda throughout, kwa sababu kuku ni maji.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 tuangazie ufugaji wa kuku na faida zake.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hot,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma, jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's now 5 minutes past 7 a.m. on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's now time to get to the political scene. Today being a Wednesday is The Viewpoint. The Viewpoint, let's talk about the 2027 political matrix. What are the things that will be shaping the political arena? And the balances, who will be having their realignments, and, you know, the talks. And even in confidence will be many, if you know what I'm talking about. Friends will be having tea, and conversations will be happening left, right, and center. Of course, the president is also seeking a re-election. That is also forming part of the matrix, and not forgetting the opposition, which is also putting the best foot forward to ensure that they clinch the next government. Those are some of the things, and what will be contributing to that. My discussion will be based on that, and I want you to talk to me, or you can send us a WhatsApp message. Talk to us what you think will be the next political matrix. 0707, that is 303212. That is 0707 303212. Send us a message on WhatsApp and talk to us. My guest already in studio. I have Honorable James Gakuya, who is representing the good people of Embakasi North, as well as Mheshimiwa George Kithi, an advocate of the High Court. He also has so many hats he's wearing, though he doesn't have a hat today, apart from Mheshimiwa Gakuya. Yes. George Kithi, good morning.
Good morning.
You're well? Mheshimiwa Gakuya, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Shukran.
Okay. Okay, let me start with the front page of the local dailies. Maybe you can take for me the front page of the Standard.
Thank you.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
I know.
Okay, so let me take the first page of the Daily Nation. First, let me go. Poison Love Gang. And Mheshimiwa, if you have the Star, you'll take for me the front page of the Star. We'll read together. Okay, let me start with the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation says that Poison Love Gang on the run. It's a deadly trio. Police believe that the gang of three could be behind more drink lacing cases. There's a gang of three people who are actually lacing their victims with drugs and thereafter robbing them of their properties. Goons take over evictions and auction. Remember, even yesterday, President talked about that the culture of goonism should stop forthwith. That is what's on the front page of the Daily Nation. And here, another story that is worth taking a look at is Ruto's U-turn on varsity funding model. We've just listened to that story a while ago, where President William Ruto has considered the higher education funding model that he introduced in 2022, which pegs state funding for students on a family's financial background, has not lived up to expectation. He has also promised changes to the law for all university students to get full government funding. But if a parent is willing and able to pay, then there is no problem. With relations to that, finally, why teachers are unhappy with the 8 billion shillings pay increase. Reason is tutors have accused their union leaders of accepting a raw deal from government after many of them found that their long-awaited salary increment ranged from 693 shillings to slightly above 2,000 shillings. The revised pay structure took effect on July 1st, 2026. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. Wakile, what do you have on the Standard?
Oh, good. From the Standard, the front page, the title is Boycott.
Yes.
Let me read this because it's very interesting.
Right.
Julius Caesar's Judas Caesar divorced his wife, Pompey, not because her adultery had been proved, but because even the slightest suspicion was intolerable. Caesar's wife must be above suspicion, has since become the benchmark of those entrusted with public office, and judges are no exception. The authority rests only on the law, not only on the law, but also on the confidence the public places in the integrity. That is why the battle over Chief Justice Martha Koome, 4 Supreme Court judges and 6 other judicial officers, has become so explosive. Accused by lawyers, ourselves, of using court orders to shield themselves from scrutiny, the judges have chosen to fight for their positions in court. In doing so, they risk appearing no different from common charlatans and chicken thieves, clutching at every legal lifeline to avoid accountability, thereby eroding the public confidence on which the judiciary ultimate depends. Interesting, right?
Interesting. The Caesar's wife, right? The story of Caesar's wife.
Yes, yes,
She was divorced not because, but just by the mere
suspicion. Mere suspicion.
That was just enough for her to get a divorce.
Yes.
You'll tell us why that boycott is there. You'll explain to us in details. Okay, Mheshimiwa, the Star, what do you have on the front page of the Star? Yeah, yes, the Star.
Yeah, here the Star talks about the camping. This is Weta's brother team, Wagamati or Munyenyi before the camp. Big Wings jump to Sifuna's camp as Western Raiders for homecoming. That's a big headline.
There's a big headline.
That's a big headline. But down there we have Ruto announces full state funding for varsity colleges students.
Yes.
And finally, why a needs is growing in Mount Kenya East.
Very good. That is part of, thank you gentlemen for that. So let me start with the front page of the Standard, where, Mheshimiwa Wakili. Why is Caesar's wife being divorced?
Well, integrity comes with responsibility, and responsibility comes with integrity. When you take such a position, you set out a certain standard, and it removes you from the commonality of the responsibilities that would actually would abound as and when you didn't take that position. So when we look at our constitution, Article 10, and the principles relational to public service, they are state officers and public officers as characterized, but they are bound by oath of office and are bound by those responsibilities set out in the Constitution. One of it that stands out is integrity. So a question that, or any intuition as to question one's responsibility introduces a chapter for investigation, but more importantly, clarification as to whether that integrity shield has been punctured or not. That is why relational to what we always call Caesar's wife must be above suspicion to the judges. It's an office that beholds to what we call the bungalow principles, upon which integrity is the highest call for a person sitting on the bench. When there is that suspicion, then that person does not measure in the context of the bungalow principles and does not measure to the clarion call easily put as Caesar's wife responsibility, meaning above any suspicion howsoever, whatsoever. Now remember that everybody has a right to defend himself or herself on account of any suspicion or any public odium as to the responsibility on integrity. That's why the standard says here that you're not a common charlatan or a chicken thief. You are a person that has been appointed to a certain position, elevated by the people, and there's a call to integrity at the highest point in the country, in the public office you hold. So that's why, therefore, that there is then the call to integrity and the domain up to investigation to confirm whether that integrity has been compromised or not. Getting court orders, as has been substantiated, and why we probably are up in arms, are getting court orders against investigation in the context of the calling then becomes or suffices to question in the highest that we are doing now, being that we shall not appear until that has been dispensed with.
Okay. So in black and white, why are the lawyers boycotting court session today?
Because those that we boycott to appear before them have used their positions to shield themselves from public scrutiny in the context of integrity.
Okay.
Let me put it the other way, that as a judge, working as a judge, you get an order from a colleague not to be investigated is the context. As simple as that. Meaning,
yes.
therefore, there's a possibility of abusing the office, the powers in the context of the office that you hold, for purpose of shielding yourself when the scrutiny is on integrity. We would rather integrity is upheld after investigation, other than shielding the investigation themselves. Even if they were malicious, they will still be. They still have to go.
So
to
for how long is it going to continue, the boycott?
For as long as integrity is compromised.
All right.
For as long as integrity is threatened.
Not there is some underlying case somewhere apart from the boycott and the integrity issue.
Well, you see, this is systemic. It is not an incident. It means there has been the first complaint, the second complaint, the third complaint, and when these things come out, there's a persistent, consistent, insistent, continuous protection of the office holder from scrutiny through court orders. We know as lawyers that people have to go to court as if there's abuse of power in the context of the criminal justice process. But that, for purposes of the person who sits in the privilege, should not be available to that person.
That is the Chief Justice.
Yes, in the context of how these things have panned out to date.
Okay.
And we are saying it's not an incident. We've watched and watched and watched until a time when we will boycott. It is because there has been persistence on the same.
All right, great. Okay, Mheshimiwa, let me come back. You read something on the front page of the Star newspaper. There is unease, why unease is growing in Mount Kenya East. And this is part of our discussion, the 2027 political matrix, and many things that, the pillars that is going to be defining that. Mheshimiwa Francis Mongangi, Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for joining us. He's the Deputy Governor of Machakos County. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Karibu, karibu. So the political matrix that is here, why is it there is unease in Mount Kenya East, and yet there has been that call that there should be some divorce? Not with the Caesar's wife, as Wakili would put it, but the two sides of Mount Kenya.
Thank you, Victor. Allow me to salute viewers, wherever they are watching this morning show. And coming to the matter, unease growing in Mount Kenya East, we have this clamor for about a year or two, and the clamor is to separate Mount Kenya East and West. A clamor that has emanated from the ruling. But as of the latest comments made by the second in command are totally against those who have that wishful thinking of that the Mount Kenya can be separable. And what I would say is that all these are culminated from what we call political rearrangements. You are aware that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya comes from Mount Kenya East. And we have Gachagua, who seems now to have taken control of Mount Kenya West. And in this case, team headed by one CS Loco is vigorously campaigning for separation of the two because of what we call political balancing.
Yes.
But as much as unease is growing, it seems it is not supported wholly by the political wing. And I think by the last water down by the second in command, it means that particular idea has to come to die.
Yes.
And there is nobody in Mount Kenya region who is a voter in the Mount Kenya region who can buy this particular idea. This idea is an idea where it seems is an idea of few who would like to use this particular methodology to see whether they can be able to garner enough for William Ruto in his direction. But don't forget that, in fact, there's no difference between Mount Kenya, East and West, because these are sisters and brothers, and they are inseparable. But politicians can be able to can cook this, but in the actual, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
And I can tell you for sure, it is not going to be possible. There is also there was also a clamor that Kiambu can be separated from Mount Kenya west to Rift Valley, which is not possible. Because remember,
who started that conversation?
It was there. It was there. And remember,
pick Kiambu and take it to Rift Valley.
Of course, that proposal, the proposal was there.
Okay.
Handed by one member for Kikuyu and others. But it's a proposal that can just die on arrival, because public, first and foremost, you cannot move to separate any, either East or Kiambu, because you have, first of all, to add that to the Constitution, where there has to be public participation, and the people has to give approval to such a decision. And therefore, I would say it's an idea which is a dead idea. I don't think that even separating them is an issue, because if you want to campaign, just go and campaign the way it is.
Yeah.
Because if one is willing to vote for you, he will vote you whether there is a barrier or not. And in this case, I would say those who are agitating for that proposal can't see the light of the day.
Okay. Mheshimiwa Mwangangi, good morning once again. Good morning. Based on what we've had, the easing is growing in Mount Kenya, and there is that call for brothers, sisters, and cousins. You've heard of that word, right? What do you make of this? Because it's going to it's going to shape how election is going to be in the next couple of months.
It's just national political games, simply put. But allow me first, I comment on what is happening, because it is actually it is a matter of national concern. The issue of boycotting of our courts. I think I comment the lawyers in this country because we have a government that believes it is either their way or no way at all. The number of court orders that have been defied by the current administration have set stench to what is happening today. I've heard the president of LSK speak yesterday, and I was listening as I was coming. And I will tell you, it is not only in the judiciary. It is the issue of institutionalism and the current Kenya Kwanza administration are things that, in my view, will lead this country by and large to what in international relations they call anarchy, where people believe on anything, whether it is legal or not legal. They decide to do their own, and they don't seem to subscribe to any form of authority. That is where this administration is taking us. Coming back to the issue of Mount Kenya politics, Mount Kenya is gone for this government. The likes of Ruku wait after next year. They can try, and I'm sure they are being pushed. You know, he has to make news everywhere, trying to show his masters in the house of the in the hill that he is doing something. They're trying to separate Kiambu, men have tried before. He needs to be a good history student. The men have tried, and they have sunk. They have failed miserably. I will tell you, Kenya is united. It is only in Mount Kenya. The politics of dividing this section, this other one, this way, is that Kenyans will sort it out next year. The time has come. It is not the time people are singing. You, by virtue of your work, Victor, and the rest, I want to invite you to Mount Kenya. Go to Kiambu, start here in Kikuyu. Move all the way to what is west, to what is east, to what is south. People are united. Kenyans are united. Let me tell you. Today, I wish Commissioner, although I think he could not have come because I think he got appointed this week. I wish he was here.
Yesterday.
I've just passed by his place.
Yes.
The song is one time, and that is at the center of the Rift Valley. I can tell you, there is a wave of change, and these people, the current leaders in this country, the owners of goons, I will tell you, they are not seeing it. They will see when they will be told, you are supposed now to be preparing to hand over.
Who are the owners of the goons?
The state.
You know, what we have in Kenya today is state-supported, state-sponsored goonism. I can tell you. And let me impute my hypothesis. Because we have millions watching us. The start of the goons started when we saw in Nairobi people walking alongside security agents. The point man of this administration in Luo Nyanza, we know is P.S. Omolo in the office of the president. We know whenever he is around, you see what happens. And this started like a joke. It is continued by targeting people who seems to be opposing this administration. Their rallies being interfered or dispersed. When you see government-supported rallies, political gatherings, they are well guarded. What do you call that? Meaning, we saw also what happened in Olkarau. You want to tell me the intelligence of this country is totally dead? They cannot, they have the capacity to know when I'm tweeting, when I'm communicating in social media with James here or the good lawyer here, and they come for me in the form of abduction, but they cannot suspect a criminal gang moving from point A to B and stop it before they do what they want to do. And I will tell you, the effects of what this administration is doing or not doing, they will see it.
Okay.
Because Kenyans have an opportunity to sort it out next year.
Okay. So, Wakili, you heard that. He said that when he talked about the boycott, he's supporting the lawyers in a way or not. But there's a way he put it.
Yes.
There's a way he put it. But let me also come back to this story of Unease the Mountain, because this is one of the things that is going to actually form the next government, the campaign, and all that. And it's already there.
Yep.
This one comes from what just happened over last week, the Mount Kenya, the Olkalau by-election.
Yep.
And that again calls for regarding a Gachagua effect in the mountain. The call for separation between East and West.
Yep.
You know, the new entrants, that the DCP, UDA did not perform well in the by-election, and the ruling coalition then, which was actually taken by the late Kiaraho, was Jubilee, did not perform well as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things happening here. Mount Kenya and East.
It's politics. The advent of politics subdues logic, reason, and it's an uprising of emotions. Let me explain it this way. And probably I need to repeat this for context purposes, that the Kenyan voter is different from the ordinary Kenyan. And let me emphasize why I'm saying that. That an ordinary Kenyan would apply logic in the context of what is right and wrong, and probably through talk and action, uphold the intention to hold accountable leadership and the rule of law. And therefore, it is an equilibrium that sets apart the good and the bad at that context.
Yes.
And therefore, you would probably bring out what is obviously right and what is wrong more easily in the context. In an election, especially with the Kenyan experience of elections, is that the Kenyan voter
transforms to an emotional person as against awful. The context. For instance, a voter would, and as a matter of right, vote not necessarily for good leadership and rule of law. The Kenyan voter elevates the interest. And contextually, therefore, democracy elevates interest so that the person then has to bias himself or herself for or against a person for there to be an election. So division is part of democracy. Without division, we won't have a result. So there must be setting apart of people so that one can win and one can lose. And that's the calling of democracy. For every cycle of 5 years, people must be able to have a bias for or against someone so that there's an election. There's a president, there's a governor, and there's a member of parliament for representation purposes. That's how democracy is fashioned. So that is, democracy may not be an ideal itself, because then it may not bring the best out of the most, of the available choices. But it will bring the person who garners more numbers when pronounced as such. Now, when you come to why there could be talks of division of societies and communities, such as Mount Kenya, it is in the same context of democracy, and towards an election, the divisions are going to, the fissures in society are going to be immediate. Now, there'll be different reasons why there'll be divisions in society. It could be religious, it could be ethnic, it could be in context of families. For instance, Wetangula and his brother are probably moving to different, setting apart in different contexts of the political divide. And therefore, and I think that's democracy. It should be available. It should be available and commendable for democracy to have divisions and fissures in society, but the elasticity of that pull apart should be such that then eventually society can come together after the election, so that then we can continue to build.
So it is okay for the separation?
It is very okay for society. In fact, it's a calling of democracy that we must set apart. The competitive aspect is that which set apart as a group with different interests coming together, that should be able to be the ones pronouncing themselves as majoritarian to be able to win in an election.
We take a break? Then we continue the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, stay with us. You can talk to us on 0707 30 32 12. Stay with us.
Kwani ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka nyumba za watu ukiuliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu na tulikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo Mark.
Sio unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manze Marvin ajui kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together and all?
I was thinking we slow things down.
Kituo cha kienzi cha KBC Radio Taifa kitakuletea tamasha kubwa la Rumba Night mjini Kakamega katika klabu ya Havana Lounge. Kikosi kizima cha KBC Radio Taifa kikiongozwa na Mfumo Kimbangu aka Mzairwa kitatua Kakamega kukutana na kusherehekea pamoja na wasikilizaji wake.
Feridwa.
Hafla hii itang'oa nanga Ijumaa tarehe 24 na Zinga Live pale Hetia Supermarket Kakamega kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa 4 asubuhi. Kisha tuelekee Emusala Special School eneo bunge la Lurambi na Malava Special Unit eneo bunge la Malava. Baadaye mida ya jioni tutajumuika Havana Lounge kwa tamasha la Rumba Night. Jumamosi tarehe 25 tutakuwa kwenye tamasha la Ramani ya Kiswahili pamoja na mwalimu Mathias Momanyi katika shule ya upili ya wasichana ya Butere. Jiunge nasi tutengeneze kumbukumbu pamoja na Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Kukosa ni makosa.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
All right, welcome back. Talk to us on 0707 30 32 12. The number is on your screen there. Still with Honorable James Gakuya, MP, Embakasi North. Of course, Honorable Francis Mwangangi, Deputy Governor, Machakos County, and Wakili George Kithi, who is an advocate of the High Court. The three gentlemen are here with me. So, Mheshimiwa Gakuya, let me just go about the question on the regional balance. The regional balance is also going to play a very key role when it comes to 2027. And it's been there. Is it going to be different, or the same monkey, same forest, you know?
Victor, because you are not new in Kenya politics.
No.
There is nothing much you are going to see even at the tail end of the next year's general election. Because you cannot expect a new player in this field. If there will be a president, it must be amongst already those who are already floated themselves.
Yes.
So we are not here to expect that we are going to have a very fresh contender who will come from nowhere. Otherwise, we are expecting that Kalonzo will take the ship. If not Kalonzo, we have the team that is around united opposition. Finally, I'm sure that there will be a mechanism for them to come up with one candidate. If not, then vis-a-vis the sitting president, who is William Ruto. And in William Ruto's camp, this element of broad-based is where he's now clinging on, because you have seen the statement made by Orokarao that tells you, it tells William Ruto goodbye. If you expect that money or goodies will change our hearts, it's not going to be possible. And therefore, here, count us out of your matrix. And it therefore tells you, do you think that William is going to find a new base out of this region? He will just move to solidify, to fight for trying to solidify the broad-based area that is Nyanza and Western. Those two and coast too. But remember, we have Sifuna, who has now also grown politically and who is also gaining a lot, who will substitute the base that was carried by Raila Odinga in Western, on it almost, if not Hure, over 3/4 of Raila supporters will go. And therefore, William cannot think that actually he's going to salvage Western in whole at all. In this matrix, if in the case Sifuna probably will get a carrot over deputy president in the matrix of the united opposition, that tells you if William Ruto is going to still have a running mate who is Kidiki, then Sifuna will be having an upper hand in Western, because he's carrying a mantle that Western has never got to. This is deputy president. It was once for a month or 2 months held by Musalia Mudavadi, but that was for a very short time. But this, remember, communities also be asking themselves, what are we getting in that particular arrangement of that united opposition? And therefore, the game here, if it is positions, the positions that is the hanging carrot is only the deputy president's carrot. William has a big battle, because if he takes this to Western, then he will be having a serious battle in Nyanza. Because Nyanza will be saying, yes, we have just come to assist you in this game of road-based. And we have already telling you the least we can get is this deputy president. So it will be very hard for him to substitute from this particular position from Mount Kenya to either Nyanza or Western. And therefore, if Sifuna gets there, as an argument of anybody who will be fronted by the united opposition, then the likelihood is that Western almost 3/4 is gone. Gone
to Sifuna?
To Sifuna.
Okay.
And when you come now to Nyanza, still remember, we have a strong, very strong young techs like Babu Owino and others, who still, and also equally Sifuna himself, we have seen in terms of support, the Nyanza, nobody can start to say that it is gone to William. This you'll be misleading yourself. It tells you Nyanza, over 50%, still will move to opposition. And therefore, William will be left with very few choices to make. Because even though he depends on what we call the cost will also be at an area where a battle that where Sifuna still have backing through that inheritance of Laila basis. So it is not be a very simple battle in 2027. And this element of Orkarao judgment, that statement has gone across the country. And most of those regions, they are purported to be regions that can lie into opposition. I don't think that these are going to be easy.
I'll ask you which statement is that you are talking about, because it must be a very loud statement that is going throughout the regions. But Mheshimiwa, I'm not hearing the name of Kalonzo Musyoka from his matrix.
In terms of?
The regional balance? He's talked about Sifuna.
Carozo is at the top gear, is a top notch, because if not, Gachagua, it should be Carozo.
Okay.
That's obvious.
The regional balance game here, and he's given his analysis very well.
Let me tell you something. We used to say African politics is about communities and the regionalism. Then Raila, the late Prime Minister, our leader, because we supported him wholeheartedly close to over 20 years. And the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, somebody created a perception, I don't know whether it was a perception or it was true, that the then Deputy President was being mistreated. So the issue of regionalism, the issue of this community and that community seemed not to play a major role in last year's election because of the perceived, whether true or not true, perceived mistreatment of the then Deputy President, the current head of state. And so many people from across the Republic voted for him out of that sympathy. But upon getting to power, you know, Kenyans expected a different shift on how politics will be played going forward. Because here we had somebody who seemed to be young, highly educated, and somebody who was visionary, because he managed to outwit a prime minister and a former vice president and even a sitting president to become president. So that issue, the influence of regionalism and this community, that community, seemed not to play a key role that time, last election. But going forward,
it was the rallying call was the dynasty versus the
Hustlers.
Exactly.
But then, just as usual, you know, I don't know whether is this administration being clever or what. Since then, because we have brought it, the Hustler is never an issue today. Even the Hustler Fund, they brought it and they eat the money, the billions that was there, and it died. It was thrown away. They even introduced funding, higher education funding model, which they have now since thrown away and introduced something else to entice Kenyan voters ahead of next year's election. Which I would say, going back to the agenda of regionalism and the communities, it is true. African politics, although that idea went down during the campaigns of last year, I will tell you it is key and major. Victor, to elaborate what I'm saying to viewers is, I cannot come to your house and pretend to be the husband to your wife and the father of your kids. They know who their father is, those kids. They know who the husband to their mother is. You can't do that. And that is the concept that plays a lot of role in African politics, Kenya included. So as I sit here, we must start somewhere. If you come to Kambani, if you go through the window and you don't come through His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, you will find yourself alienated because the people know who their leader is. Before Kenya came to know Kalonzo Musyoka, we knew him as our leader and we pushed him to national stage.
Yes.
Okay? So I always say, and I will repeat in this program, strong communities, strong societies, cohesive ones will form a strong, cohesive nation. We need not to be so much negative about this. I know our constitution, and Lawyer Kithi will agree with me that our constitution talks about, and it is very strong on this, on regional balancing. But that, as it might be, politics is different.
Yes.
Because it is a way of getting the leadership of this country to the national stage.
Okay, what about the broad-based card? How is it going to influence the next election?
Let's put it this way, and probably picking from what my good friend has said, regionalism and ethnicization of politics is probably the greatest division that we practice in Kenya in our politics. So politics get localized at the moment of decision making, and therefore the mental psyche retreats, the general national mental psyche retreats to the local, so that influences the entire public domain. So the dominion in politics and how to conquer politics revolves around one, ethnicization and building blocks around the ethnic groups so as to get, like I've said, a majoritarian movement towards which then a person can be elected. And this is a dominant tactic that has been used over time, building blocks called coalitions for purposes then of creating the dominion for electability. Now, the broad-based concept brings political parties to one basket for purpose of harnessing that majoritarian approach. However, the reason why we allowed coalitions and amended the Political Parties Act is exactly that political parties are ethnic-based, or they have an aspect of ethnic dominance within their recruitment, so that the membership is dominantly from a certain ethnic group, and therefore giving political parties a certain identity, an ethnic identity to it. And if you look at the political parties, they form an ethnic identity towards which then, as they come to the table of coalition, they represent a certain ethnic background.
Yes.
And therefore, even as we speak about the ethnic
merger or fissures. We speak about political parties in the context of ethnic mobilization, where political parties revolve around dominance in certain regions and ethnic groups. So if you talk of Kadwasili, you talk of DCP, you already are emerging a tribal concept within that analysis. Suffice it to say, therefore, that it is about those social groupings called ethnic groups and political parties that come together that then bring about the dominance and the pattern of numbers. So when we talk, as has been said by Mheshimiwa here, when he analyzes, and I don't agree with him in that context, but when he analyzes, as he has, the coastal region, western, and all that, it's in the context of ethnic building bridges to form the coalitions of ethnic groups towards which then a formidable force can come up. So it is still early in the day, but it's an emerging pattern wherewith you can work with for purposes of mobilization.
So the broad-based government has an effect?
Yes, it is, like I've said, the context of broad-based government is to bring out broad political parties that have been participating in elections before for purposes of forming a formidable force towards an election. The emerging united opposition also is bringing together a grouping of those fiefdoms of political parties for purposes of forming a coalition. That's the intention, obviously, to form a coalition to compete with the broad-based. So both of them.
But remember what Mheshimiwa Gakuya said, that even the opposition itself, even the broad-based, the perceived regions which were, dominated by ODM or the late Raila Odinga is not entirely so right now. So which means the broad-based coalition might not have it 100% block.
On the face of analysis, I think so. But look at it that way. Who, and that's the question, who has inherited the dominion of Raila Odinga as we speak? Who has inherited?
That's a question.
I think that is where the struggle is today, where broad-based is trying to, because it is at the time of his demise, he was already within the movement of broad-based. I think it's trying to hold on into that. And what the opposition is doing is to claw away what will have been the advantage from broad-based, and therefore creating numbers as will be competitive. But I think the fight here will be the dominion of Raila Odinga as was, to be able then to ride into it, which he has said is Western. He has probably talked of the coast and also Nyanza. And I think those variables will inform the movement eventually that becomes majoritarian in the next election.
So, Mheshimiwa Gakuya, you say the battle is on. Having in mind, there's also Rigathi Gachagua effect and the DCP effect. So you talked about Sifuna. I'm now bringing it together with the broad-based government and now the DCP effect.
One thing, let us all agree that if there is position to be shareable, the team, which is called itself United Opposition today, remember, they cannot approach an election on guesswork. And therefore, there will be serious sacrifice for them to win a cause. And this will force some of the big wings, Matiang'i, Gachagua, Kalonzo, the three of them. Was the reason why I'm saying the three of them is that I'm sure in their matrix, there are three major areas that they must bet on. These are Central, Kamba, and Western. Those are their three strong bases. And for them to make sure that the three bases are in their basket, then there has to be carrots to be shareable to those areas. In terms of political share, political power sharing, in their arrangement, if they decide it is Kalonzo, then the other big question will be, where will be Gachagua and Ismail Kenya? And in this particular basket, you require Gachagua to deliver over 6 million to the basket. So where will Gachagua studying? And when we also ask ourselves that question, we must also ask ourselves, where is Western standing? Because you need in your basket Western too. So that's the reason why I'm saying there has to be a sacrifice. Because nobody will just stamp that I must take this one, or I must take. But there has to be that sacrifice. And the tail end, most likely, Caruso might be lucky and considered probably to be the flag bearer. But as much as he will be considered the flag bearer, there has to be a serious negotiation.
Or who should be the running mate?
Who should be the running mate? And probably are they going also to elevate the position of prime minister? And if so, who will take it? And those three regions has to be considered for a particular portion in their matrix. From there, we have Matiang'i and Jubilee. You cannot rule out Matiang'i behind him because he also commands a big number. But there has to be what now should you consider for Matiang'i in element of the cushion of Nyanza.
That is in the Gusii region.
In the Gusii region.
Okay.
So all those has to be considered, and I'm sure at the end of the day there will be a white smoke. Because if these leaders, in their mind, and back of their mind, is to defeat William, then there should be no division within them. And they should agree on how they will share their baskets of power. So that we can have a president, we can have a deputy, and probably we can have that proposed prime minister. And I can tell you, if in case there will be an elevation of position of prime minister, then the deputies can be considered, one to go to Kisii, and another one to go elsewhere, either coast or somewhere else. So those are the political balancing. Because in politics, number one, let us all agree that as much as there is what we call that sacrifice, there is interest too. And therefore, you cannot tell me that you take the whole meat home. And I was part of the...
Of course, yes. Okay. So, Mheshimiwa,
before it comes, let me just interject and say this. Even if that analysis on theory and on paper looks formidable, to say, purport, plan in order to disenfranchise others so that you continue to dominate, in itself is a negative that doesn't propel you into leadership. Let me put it this way. I come from the coast, and we are very bitter with some of the leadership that we've seen in the past history. So as they plan, let them know that we are aggrieving in the process, and therefore, when they come to us to be able to give us their plan, we'll definitely reject it. You cannot plan to subdue others, other communities, for purposes of ascending to power by yourself. So you can't say we are negotiating with Luyas, Kambas, and Kikuyus alone, then the others will give you the crumbs of what is befallen as opportunities that have been subdued. That's an impossibility. So, and that's the debate we're having at the coast today, that these people, who we say, over time, we have historical injustice of the leadership that has come from them.
Yes.
And we have genuine grievances, but today they're telling us, if we come into government, we are coming in a certain composition of that dominance. It instills the fear of the past and the historical injustice.
So what is the game plan from that you're having from the coast, if you're having that discussion?
The game plan is, one, to consolidate coast as a force and to negotiate on a platform of equal opportunities, not opportunities made available after the consideration that I hear today. Because it's not only arrogant, it is an intention to subdue other communities so that other communities are dominant in this country. There's no equality there. It's not a discussion of equal opportunities, it's a discussion of communities coming together to subdue other opportunities, and that won't happen. Let me tell you, it is exactly the problem we've had in politics of dominion of communities against others. So we will see it as you against us instead of the intention to be inclusive. And I'll explain why. Let me explain you, for example.
Who is leading this conversation? You
can't, for instance, come to Mombasa.
Who is the forefront?
Of what?
This discussion from the coast?
No. We are the forefront, including myself. Let me explain you this. Why will somebody from Central
come to Mombasa and tell us somebody who is a Somali will become your governor in Mombasa. At least, why would that be an imposition on us? And I say that with utmost respect that everyone has an opportunity everywhere, but as agreed with everyone here, politics is local, so you can't come and impose without asking us the question of responsibility of the community that you're imposing a person on. And they come to cost, they say, Mombasa, we need a certain person, or we're imposing a certain person to be your governor. I mean, it's very interesting how they are thinking and why they're not seeing that thinking has a problem and should be refined to be seen as inclusive.
Okay.
It's going to pose a fundamental problem to the country themselves.
Is the candidate proposed a cost candidate? Because the candidate proposed is a sitting member of Nyali, and is Nyali not in Mombasa?
You get it wrong when you think that way. You need to be on the ground to know whether he was given the position in order to ascend into governance, to govern a position, or he was given the position in the context of the presentation and balancing and the discussion that was had then. Especially the political dominance as was that.
As you close the handout.
So think about it. Think about it. Do not say we give a deputy president or this and this probably to the cost. You can say that. That's arrogant.
My proposal is that the cost also should consolidate themselves. They also must front somebody. In the negotiation table, there has to be somebody sitting. So could somebody then be front himself to be part of the discussion?
That is the question why I've asked who is on the front line, Wakili. Yes, DJ.
See, it's something and for free I want to share with Kenyans. And this is politics and democracy. Wakili Kidi, I think he wants, sometimes back, before the last election, he wanted to contest somewhere. I don't know whether he did or not. And I believe he has not shelved his political ambitions. What I want to tell him is democracy is about the majority and the minority. At the world level, Mheshimiwa Ngakuya talked of numbers. You must sit, plan, and see how are you going to get the numbers, okay? And that is politics. Even at world level, leave alone then at national level. You must see, I need to talk to this group, hii kikundi, hawa, nilete ndani, how do I cater for their interests? And that is the way to building a strong country at national level. I'm saying I am not a proponent of exclusion. We need not to exclude anyone. And because what we are discussing here is so critical, because if we are to change this country, if we are to stop the kind of corruption and theft mismanagement of the public resources, if we are to stop abduction and ensure rule of law in this country, then we must look for these numbers whichever way we get the right candidate on the seat of the power, so that through that we can change the country. The same way President Kibaki did. So in this case, this game of numbers, Mheshimiwa Wakili, sometimes you are forced to do some things. I sympathize with those who have those historical injustices of exclusion, but we have devolution.
Okay.
Actually, in this forum, we should be advocating 40% to remain at national level, 60% to go to devolution, so that all the regions in this country, they have their resources, and we will not be discussing about exclusion, this and that, but we will be talking about equality and inclusivity.
My director says that we are actually out of time. I don't know. It's becoming, thank you, we're almost finishing. But we have to continue the show. Apparently, I have to stop at that point. 1 hour is just gone like that. 1 hour is just gone like that.
That was very short. I thought we were beginning.
Well, imagine, 1 hour is just gone just like that. But I want to wish you all the best, because all of you are leaders who are contesting for different positions. I want to wish you all the best, because now this is it. Mheshimiwa Kithi, thanks sana for coming.
Asante.
Kilifi wanakutegemea, si ndio?
But of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
And Ngakuya, Mheshimiwa, thank you so much. Nairobi wanakutegemea?
Hii Nairobi lazima tujipange na tutajipanga tu, lazima Nairobi this time round we have to rescue it.
Very good. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Francis Mwangangi.
But I would request that this particular show should be given at least 1.5 hours or 2 hours.
The director will scare you.
So that no,
the good thing you've said it live on air.
Exhaust.
Live on air.
So
we can do a repeat. We can do a repeat. We can organize and then do a repeat. That's agreeable. All right. Thank you so much. Let's take a break. GMK continues after this.
Ni kila Ijumaa kutokea saa 1:30 mpaka saa 4 kamili. Inakuwa ni burudani kiukamilifu ya Afrika Mashariki.
Tunakupatia umbea kwa segment inaitwa The Big Story. Tunachanua what's happening in social media, msanii amefanya nini na nani.
Kando na mziki mzuri wa Afrika Mashariki, The Big Story pia anawaletea mastaa tofauti ndani ya studio. Kutoka Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, yani ukanda mzima wa Afrika Mashariki.
Nakumbuka pia unaweza interact na sisi kwenye mitandao, yani social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, X na hashtag ni ile tu, #WaMasharikiLive.
Tunakupa mix kali kutoka kwa DJ Kuch, muziki ya kizazi kipya iliyotamba inazidi kutamba na ambayo tunaitambaliza zaidi.
Exactly, and as always msiaisahau, lazima tuwapatie burudani yenye vitamin extra.
Nilikuwa nimekuja kuangalia Josh na sijempata kwake.
Hajakuambia?
Ndio natafuta. Anajua kwenye anaishi. Ni siasa nitapambana nazo ama huu pumbavu wako na Monica?
Uko sure tunafaa kuonekana pamoja kweli?
Wewe acha wasiwasi.
Habari yako?
Kile ambacho tutazungumza kwa hii room humu ndani kibaki hapa hapa.
Many thanks for staying with us right here on KBC Channel 1. You're still watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. Now, let's talk about matters that regard SMEs and their future and how they can survive the high cost and competing within the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. And, you know, SMEs account for over 90% of all businesses within the country, and also meaning that they employ a big number of Kenyans. But within that ecosystem, there are challenges that abound. We are talking about higher taxes, rising financial cost, rising expensive electricity, and so on. But on the other hand, the African Continental Free Trade Area opens a market of about 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP going up to more than $3 trillion US. And this means there are unprecedented opportunities within that ecosystem. But now the question here is, can these SMEs become competitive businesses globally, even as they thrive within the AFCFTA? That is a conversation we are having with Cyprian Ongeri, who is the lead consultant, GFC Africa. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How about you?
I am great.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
So let's get into the conversation, and we have to start with understanding the current realities in as far as SMEs is concerned. Latest data shows that small businesses account for an overwhelming majority of enterprises in Kenya, employing millions of Kenyans to that effect.
Yeah.
But when you look at Kenyan SMEs, what are they facing? Is it a competitiveness crisis or unfavorable business environment?
I think we can look at it from different angles. SMEs are facing various issues. Taxation is huge.
Yeah.
The cost of energy is huge. Competitiveness is huge. They are lacking, some of them, the managerial skills to be able to manage their affairs, run their businesses in the right way. You realize also sometimes even compliance issues. You saw KRA coming up with a lot of changes on the Tax Act. Those are changes that actually will influence the amount of money they may need to to pay in terms of now getting the compliance. For a regular SME, they may not understand. For example, if you talk about KRA says we need you to distribute at least 60% of your earnings for that particular year, or we are going to assume it's revenue and we are going to tax it. Like a regular SME, we are talking about the mama mboga, mama and pop shops. We are talking about does that guy really understand what is deemed dividend? That means that they have to now go ahead and invest in hiring somebody to assist in terms of compliance. That's an extra cost that is going to hit on their balance sheet. SMEs do not even understand, some of them, they don't even understand that you need to have your books in order for you to even understand, are you even making a profit or you're just making cash flow and using that cash flow to go out and assume you're making money. Sometimes you could be having cash flow coming in, but then knowing whether you're making a profit is completely different. You must do your balance sheet, you must do your income statement, get to understand your cash flow, statement of cash flow, see how you are able to move your businesses. So there's a lot of challenges they are going through, but then within that, then you realize there's a lot that also the government is doing, non-government organizations, developmental partners, the GIZ, trademark, they are doing a lot of, right now we have actually capacity building that is ongoing. The county governments are doing the CAPs, whereby they are, giving centers for aggregation, so that SMEs are able to also move that ladder to be in the space whereby they can compete. We are talking about the FCFTA, and the FCFTA is actually not just about removing tariffs. FCFTA is talking about standards, how your goods,
value addition.
Value addition. Can your goods really compete in the African market? We are looking at, we are talking about an SME that is thriving in Kenya, right? But if we open you up into DRC, we open you up into Tanzania, into Uganda, into the whole AFCFTA region, will your products compete? If you are an SME who's maybe doing shampoos or lotions, and you're printing your labels at a cyber, unatumia super glue, and all that, will that compete when a Nigerian is actually using a large format printing and the products, when they're on the shelf, they look more attractive, So the FCFTA is not just even about the tariffs. We are talking about trade finance, access to trade finance itself. We are talking about logistics. we are talking about, like, it's a whole host of so many things that these SMEs needs to understand for them to be able to be competitive.
But if they have to understand all that, what you are saying, who is responsible of making sure that that information is available to SMEs, especially now that we are talking about matters of even value addition to become more competitive?
There's a lot of NGOs that are already actually doing it, like Trademark, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. We have seen the Ministry of Trade, organizing such events for them to be actually sensitized on what they need to understand. Those conversations are going, but then on a one-on-one basis, then now it moves into now that SME saying, I am really intentional. I want to understand more about this competitiveness. I want to understand more about the FCFTA. Then looking for that particular person who can give you that one-on-one information. That's where consulting firms are basically there. There we're able to have those conversations with them, get to understand who they are, what they are doing, what challenges they are facing, and come up with the ideas on how they're able to scale, their businesses and move the ladder.
Very important. And, the biggest challenge is not really about even lack of customers, but or even the rising cost of business. But there are other challenges that you have addressed. But from those challenges, including logistics, what would you say are the challenges that that have the biggest impact on SMEs in making sure that they operate competitively?
I think mostly even understanding capacity, getting to understand who you are, what you're able to produce. Not every SME is ready for the export market. For you to be ready for the export market, two major things really have to happen. Number one, your quality has to be top-notch. Like I said, you're moving from Kenya, representing Kenya, in terms of your products. You're moving into a market that now is going to bring South Africa. It's bringing in Nigeria. It's bringing in Egypt. It's bringing in Ethiopia. And there's a lot that is actually going on in Ethiopia in terms of now growing the SMEs and opening up that space for, foreign direct investment into Ethiopia and all that. We are now moving from just producing, but then we are saying whatever you're producing has to be of high quality. If you're able to assure that you can give us high quality and you can assure us consistency, because you can't just produce a good today. I walk into a shop in Kinshasa, I have very good quality product from Kenya. I buy it today. When I'm coming back next month, it's not available. So you have to assure, if you're able to assure us of quality and consistency, you can actually scale that market.
And even consistency is one aspect of building trust.
Building trust is, and trust me, the whole idea of consistency will actually make you lose a lot of business than anything else you're talking about. Because for me to be able now to stock your products on my shelf, I need to be sure that you will be there again next month. The moment my clients, likes your products, then I can't deliver. I'm going to lose their trust. If I'm losing their trust, then I'm going to lose your trust too.
Exactly. And within the whole sphere of high cost of doing business, there's an argument by entrepreneurs that taxation is less of a burden than the complexity of complying with multiple taxes, county levies, and even regulatory requirements. As a country, where should the priority be? Should we prioritize tax simplification before even introducing tax incentives for SMEs?
One thing, the whole conversation about tax is usually a challenging aspect. Governments need tax. That's the only way they will operate. Without taxes, we really don't have a government. Number two, the SMEs need breathing space. You can't overtax them to a level whereby now they're saying we really need to close. The whole idea of taxation, then we are saying, if you really want this to work, instead of taxing more, and you can, if you're looking at the whole idea of tax, look at what happens for the payee. Even forget about the businesses, look at the payee. The payee is the government knows that you exist, and you're working at this particular company, and you are paid this amount of money. It's easy for us to collect money from you, versus the guy who's doing nachomelea, no, sometimes they don't even understand where this guy is.
Yes.
So what we are saying, if we are able to broaden that tax base, give incentives for people to come into the tax bracket and say, I really want to, do my fair share. Pay my fair share of taxes, build my own roads by those taxes, and then simplify this idea. And we've seen actually even Kerry trying to simplify the tax filing part of it. But the whole idea of what the tax is more difficult than basically just filing. We are saying, how can you understand how much you're supposed to pay? For me to understand, I will need to read the tax code. So that I can understand what qualifies for these exemptions, what qualifies, That now brings me to the idea of, as a regular SME, you are not in that position to actually even read that tax act.
Yes.
So then it means the cost of compliance is going to go high. I'm going to have to get an accountant or a tax consultant to be able to read that code and tell me, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to go about these taxes. So simplifying tax will be the best case, I will say, but also now giving incentives for people to come into the tax bracket will actually assist.
And actually they would be doing that from a point of understanding.
Yeah. Some people actually, they don't even understand, they run away.
Yeah.
We have had clients who receive a query from KRA. They never read it. They look at it, they're like, oh, this is so scary. And then they look for somebody to come and read and, advise them. Some of them, they wait until the last minute when KRA is saying, hey, we are going to freeze your accounts. If you don't have to talk to us, then they'll say, at that point, let's look for this particular guy. Then from there, you can have that conversation. But you see, if it was much easier and it doesn't look like we are policing you, we are a service provider. You hear KRA saying we want to move it into a service and all that, so that people will easily walk into a KRA office, say, actually, I have this problem, how can we fix it? People will actually come back to the tax bracket.
Very important. And, it's not lost on us that businesses open and close. And every year we have thousands of SMEs registering. From that perspective, does this suggest resilience within the Kenyan entrepreneurial system, or is it a reflection of a cycle where businesses close and others open to replace those that have closed?
For some of those, actually, the same business closes, opens up as a new business, and starts something. It happens. But in Kenya, we also say we have a thriving, population, very smart individuals. The new generation guys, they are really super smart. IT or tech savvy. They understand. AI. They can come up with businesses here and there, right? But even with that, we still say some will open businesses or start businesses, and let's also have some that will be building careers. You cannot have everybody coming into the entrepreneurship journey. It's usually a calling. There's so much that goes in terms of entrepreneurship. You are asleep at 2 a.m. Unapigia, unaambiwa your truck imefanya accident in Kinshasa. You don't know where to start from. So it's not that everybody has to be in entrepreneurship. Those who are gifted, they can come into entrepreneurship. The rest of us, you can work for those entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, that balance has to be struck. But in terms of what you're saying, we do open a lot of businesses in Kenya. Tunafunga, tunafungua, and all, But the reason why that will be open, look up JP Morgan. That guy did not close as soon as he came. We have Kenyans who come right now, they open a business. They expect to start earning in the next 6 months. By 2 years, they are driving Prados, and they don't really trust that process we talk about, right? If it doesn't go as they are looking at, then they are going to close down. But we say, if you're able to keep pushing, hata kama unafanya ni kuchomelea, keep doing what you're doing. Then the first year it may be a little difficult. Keep pushing, continue. But at the end of the day,
that's the nature of business. You expect returns in the first year.
It will, but we actually microwaved society whereby ukitaka kunywa chai ni maziwa unaweka kwa microwave na, you know, within a few minutes umekunywa. But see, we are forgetting that data upbringing is also now coming into how we are running our businesses. So we want the business to start today. We really want to make money at the end of the month. You know, we don't want to go into that process of, you know, you will incur some losses, keep on growing until you break even. We say normally it will take you 2 years to break even. If you're looking at breaking even before then you're actually in trouble because it doesn't work that way. So that's why you see somebody anafungua anasema hii ya car wash work. You know, let me nifungue chomelea. Anafungua chomelea. This one is also not working.
Is it about the perception that this business needs to have done, to have broken even at this time? But then again, we get blind to the opportunities that are there.
But you see, you get blinded by the opportunity because in the first place, did you have a plan for that business? Did you really do a feasibility study, get to understand the challenges that you're going to face, get to know when I will actually break even, you know, so that if I'm going back to my plan, I'm able to say by month 3, I'm looking at being the sole employee, I'm the CEO, I'm the accountant, you know, by month 6, I've brought in 1 extra person, so expenses going to increase. You know, by year 1, I have 5 employees. I expect to have maybe been making this amount of income. By year 1.5 or something like that, I'm now making, I'm breaking even, I'm making my money, you know. Did you really have that plan? Because if you didn't have that plan, then there's going to be a lot of distractions. Utakaa kidogo hivi, somebody says, hapa hivi ni Forex ndio inafanya. So utafunga whatever you are doing, let me run to Forex. You go to Forex, you realize you don't even know anything about Forex. So you've already put your money there, imepotea. Then you're like, no, watch it in the Forex. Let me try and see if I can do digital marketing. I'm going to go on to TikTok. I just buy a camera, you know, and I go on TikTok. Naingia TikTok is aileti kama rafiki zako. Then you're like, now what else? You know, let me start a consulting firm. I can consult on TikTok, and you know, then you realize it's another employment. You know, so it's if you have a plan. You will actually stay through the course.
Yeah, you don't have to become a jack of all trades.
Yeah, we stay through the course. Yeah, we started in 2016, ups and downs. COVID came, everything went down. You know, consulting firms, you know, during COVID went down, everything, because nobody's consulting, nobody's paying taxes, nobody's even doing businesses. So you are sitting there, you know, trying to make phone calls. Hey, are we doing the VAT? It's like I don't even have anything to file. You know, so things went down. Then after that, you start again, you know, as long as you stay on the course, keep pushing. And even actually, even biblically, you know, itafika mahali hata Mungu ako like, this guy has tried. You know, and things are actually open up.
And over the last 3 years, the country has, we've seen elevated interest rates, maybe inflationary pressures, and maybe tighter liquidity. When you look at these things, have the macroeconomic measures stabilized the economy at the expense of SMEs, or are they necessary short-term sacrifices for long-term stability of the economy?
So you're looking at how long is short-term, you know, because the issue of liquidity is not new. It's been there from back then. You know, a regular business. Actually, banks want you to show them that you don't need the money.
Yes.
That they will give you the money. But a regular SME that needs the money, you will go there. They will actually come and advertise, you know, come, we are giving business loans, we are giving this and that, and you're going to apply. But then you realize that there is a lot of barriers you have to jump, a lot of hoops, you know, to let financial statements, to bring us this and all that. Then you get to a point whereby you realize that sometimes, because I know you've worked with clients who basically were in that space of, you know, seeking financing. They go to one bank or make a shut down. Then they come, then we are like, maybe this is not how you needed to present yourself, right? If you're able to present yourself in a bankable way that banks will look at your statement, they look, because banks will ask you have a bank statement for the last 2 years, 3 years or something like that. Probably you don't even have your financial statements. Probably you have them, they're not audited, you know, all the. If you're able to show the case, prove your case. The case is, I am an SME, I want to grow, and this is my challenge, this is what I'm looking at to be in the next 2 years if I have this financing. You know, it's much easier for that to happen. But then you realize also, the government is also borrowing. And the government is going for easy money, which is banks. Then once the banks are seeing the government is coming, they are sure this guy is not going to default, right? So they're going to give it to the government. Whatever is left is what comes now to the SMEs and to us regular businesses. They will also now start from the enterprises.
Yeah.
We are looking at, can I give Bitco? Because I know Bitco ikichukua, they will pay.
Yes.
But an SME who's down there, I do not even understand their business. I do not know what they have done. They don't even have financial statements. Really, I'm not going to give them money. So there is that aspect. Then there is also the aspect of that credit being available, but too expensive. I've seen microfinance institutions charging 20-30% per month, right? Even if, I don't know what type of business you're running, to be able to actually afford to pay 30% on a monthly basis and still run your own business. Even if you go to banks, they may be giving you 18 to 24%.
Yeah.
That is still 3 times what you can actually get if you go in the US. In the US, you can actually walk into a bank right now. You do that application. You don't even need to walk in the bank. Digitally, you can actually do online.
Yeah.
You request a loan, take a $10,000. You request Apple. Within two hours, they're like, hey, I think you qualify for this amount. Sign these documents and send us back. And you receive the money within that one day. Here, it's back and forth. Go here, end up kwa yule jamaa, go talk to this guy, and sometimes you'll never even get it. So there's the issue of liquidity now whereby we don't even have the money to give you. There's the issue of now the cost of that capital that is being too high, which now also factors into the profitability of that particular business.
Which actually, the issue about banks, commercial banks, the argument usually is that SME lending is risky due to poor record keeping and even limited collateral.
Yeah.
So while these businesses insist on affordable credit, there's still some level of inaccessibility. So where does the greater responsibility lie? Is it the financial sector or the SMEs themselves?
For an SME who's coming in to look for trade finance, the issue of collateral should actually not be coming up. The banks should understand the nature of businesses. I'm doing import business. I'm importing steel from China, right? You do not expect me to have collateral worth $1 million, for example. It's not feasible. But how about you think about, I have that commodity that's coming from China, from a particular company in China. Can we have, maybe an arrangement that we can have a conversation with that particular company that is shipping so that we can have access or get to understand when these products are moving. They come and land at the port in Mombasa in our warehouse, maybe a bonded warehouse, whereby we can say we have control of this product, right? So we have given you $1 million, right? But then for you to be able to sell these products, we still must be part of the ownership of that product, such that I'm not now looking for collateral. Where are you going to get collateral worth $1 million, right? But then if you have access to that particular product, then now you can now talk about how can we finance this. So banks also need to understand that there is a personal loan, and then there is a business loan, and then we have trade finance. Trade finance must understand the journey of every trade.
Yeah.
If I'm doing export business, nauza chai or something like that, it's not happening today. You can't give me a loan and expect me to pay next month. Probably hata ijatoka kwa auction, right? But if I'm selling regular products for a supermarket, then you expect them to, the movement is different. So banks should understand each business, get to treat them according to what that business looks like.
Let's get into the opportunity or challenge that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement presents. Access of 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of around exceeding 3 trillion USDs. So are there practical opportunities that it presents, especially to Kenyan SMEs, that currently they can explore?
One thing I can say, the Africa Continental Free Trade is is something that is so dear to what we do, and it's something that we look at a lot.
Yes.
FCFTA, where we are right now, is not like ESC, it's not like SADC, it's not like ECOWAS that have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
We are talking about a journey. The FCFTA right now is actually a journey, it's not an event. It's not something that, you know, it's working, it's worked and all that. We can't even judge and say the FCFTA has worked, it has failed, and, you know, it's still too early, right? FCFTA, we talk about a market of 1.4 billion. You know, that's what we are saying is an opportunity.
Yeah.
But then we forget one thing. It's a population of 1.4 billion. Do we really have that market? You know, look at what China is doing. China is in Kenya, is in Zambia, is in everywhere. Do we Africans really own that 1.4 billion? Most of that market is owned by China. Most of that market could be owned by the EU. Most of that market could be owned by the US, sometimes producing the same products that we're able to produce here in Kenya or here in Africa. So talking about the 1.4 billion opportunity is completely different from 1.4 billion market that we own. So we have the population, but we don't own that market. Now, that's not a problem. It's because FCFTA is still new. Right now, 54 countries have already ratified. It's only Eritrea that hasn't. The AU considered Sahrawi as one of countries, basically, you know. So 54 have already ratified. Only 25 have gazetted. So you cannot use the rules of origin for the FCFTA for a country that has not gazetted. You know?
Yeah.
So if those countries have not gazetted, then that means we cannot really use the FCFTA into those particular countries. The beauty is most of the East African countries have already ratified. But then now we are saying if we're in East Africa, we really need the ESC.
Yes.
Now, for us to now move into the ECOWAS region, into SADC region, into all those other regions, then now we need the FCFTA. This FCFTA, at the moment, there is progress that has been made.
Yes.
The ratification by the 25 countries, obviously having it ratified, that's progress. We have seen a lot of progress in terms of trade finance, because that's part of what the FCFTA is actually after. We have seen a lot of progress in terms of logistics, but then there are still non-tariff barriers that are basically affecting the FCFTA.
Yeah.
You know, those are the challenges that we still have to. At the moment, FCFTA is at that level whereby we celebrate a shipment going through, you know, using the FCFTA. You know, so that tells you that we still have a long way to go. Nobody's celebrating that we have shipped 20 containers to Tanzania under the ESC.
Which now begs the question, as a continent, have we underestimated the challenge of removing these invisible trade barriers?
You know, at the end of the day, you realize that, you know, FCFTA says you are going to give us preferential trade for these products, or you can even give us zero rate in terms of tariffs. But you still get to DRC, they are like, yeah, we know the FCFTA, but you really need to talk to us. You know, if you go to DRC, you realize that maybe the government may not be, you know, that guy who can assist you. There are some guys at the border who say, you need to talk to us. Yes, we know you have everything that is working, but then you need to talk to us. So there is all those, even right now, we have a lot of seminars and conferences. They are talking about how can we eliminate non-tariff barriers. And it's still a challenge because you want to get your free access, but then you still need to get those tariffs. You need to collect some taxes here, there, levies and all that stuff. So there is those challenges. There are a lot of challenges that are already ongoing, but I've seen even the FCFTA SG, you know, talking about all this, going to different countries, trying to see how can we reduce these NTBs so that we're able to have that free movement of goods. If you're able to have that free movement of goods, trust me, we can do a lot of things here in Africa. But until we are able to take care of those non-tariff barriers, until we're able to take care of logistics, I mean, if you're moving products from Kenya into Kinshasa, it's not going by road. You are going to have to go by ship because ukifika DRC, Congo Forest, Aupiti, it has to go by ship. So you can imagine how much money is going through that. We are talking about even understanding standardization. Not every product that you produce will actually pass the test to go to a particular other country. Some of the SMEs we are talking about, they do not even have standard, even KEBs. Zingine hata hawana KEBs. You know, some of them don't even understand the export market. They don't understand what documentation you need for you to be able to get into the export market. So the non-tariff barriers is a big issue, but there's so many other challenges that need to be worked on. And as time goes by, we are going to embrace it.
Because that's true. Because some you speak to some economists or even experts, they argue that AFCFTA could expose some SMEs to undue competition before they are ready. But then again, as a country, should we first strengthen our SMEs, our domestic competitiveness, before even venturing into now areas like AFCFTA?
I feel right now there's a lot of conversation around protecting, you know, our local manufacturing. There's conversation about, you know, improving competitiveness. That's why we have a lot of capacity building ongoing. GIZ is doing capacity building. Trademark is doing capacity building. KNCCI, KEPSA, all this, they're doing capacity building for them to be competitive in terms of export market. Now, the protectionism is something that can be looked upon for only strategic kind of interest. You really don't want to protect a company producing lotion, you know, company producing tea, you know. It has to be something strategic. But then at the end of it all, then you're looking at how can we make this competitive. If you're looking at protecting them, they will never be competitive, because they are not getting any competition from anybody outside. Let them go out there and compete with the Nigerians.
And that competition will bring about innovation.
It will bring about innovation, actually, yeah, because when you realize the competition is too high, Nigerians are doing this particular products in this particular way, I need to find a way that I can also compete. You know, let them compete with everybody out, unless it's something so strategic. The minerals, you know, such type of, you can actually do the protections. But then for regular production, let the people go out there.
Let's close with this. What do you see as the future of SMEs in terms of getting becoming competitive at the continental and global level?
Look at it this way. Participating in the international or continental trade is more not just about geography. You know, there is a huge market space and all that, but it's more about competitiveness. For you to be able to compete, like I said, you need a lot of capacity building. We need a lot of incubators. We need a lot of CAPES to continue in terms of county export, growth. We need to have counties go beyond just having a minister or a minister of trade, but somebody who will actually prioritize every business in that particular country, do a mapping, say we have for example, in Nyandarua, we are good in milk production. You know, see how we can now move that from just Nyandarua, move it into the whole country, move it into outside the country, figure out what product moves in that in the export market. We may be trying to sell milk, but then you move into the export market, you realize they don't even need like regular milk. They are looking for milk powder. So we are trying to sell milk in terms of packets, but they don't want that. They are looking for milk powder. So we have to understand what is moving and figure out how can we now factor in on the industry that we have here and make them more competitive. If you want to move, maybe you want to sell products in Nigeria, what sells in Nigeria? Don't just take anything. What sells in DRC? You know, in Kenya here we are eating a lot of mahindi, ugali. You know, when you go to DRC, for them they're looking for rice mostly. You know, you realize actually the conversation we were also having with one of my bosses at some point. They went to DRC and they were looking at taking unga. They are taking the regular stuff, juice and all that stuff. They get to DRC, they realize these guys are in wako kitambo, wako 1980s of Kenya. They're looking for matchboxes, candles, you know, this regular other stuff. Then they changed the whole idea because they were going with a different perspective, but then they realized that kwa ground ni tofauti. So if you're moving into DRC, figure out what do they want in DRC. Come here, develop capacity around that, sell it to DRC. If you're moving into South Sudan, go to South Sudan. What is actually moving in South Sudan? Come here, figure out which industry is actually playing around that area, develop capacity, move it into that particular area. You know?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing insights, especially when it comes to matters of SMEs and how they can become competitive at the continental and global level.
Thank you.
That is Cyprian Ongeri, who is the lead consultant at GFC Africa. This conversation ends right now. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwe. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Women at the Forefront. Stay with us.
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo liko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama PDG, ma deep state, pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
Hey you, the world is a better place with you in it. There's someone that is glad that they met you. There's someone who is smiling because they have experienced the joy that you give. There's someone whose world is better because you exist in it. So darling, you are incredible, you are powerful, you're blessed, and the world is definitely a better place with you in it. Yes.
Love that. Allow me to introduce our guest. As you've heard, she is a poet. Her name is Maureen Ngare. She's also a mental health advocate and a psychologist and the founder of Hearted Stories. And she's here for us to talk about poetic healing. How do we, or how is art incorporated on matters of mental wellness and healing all together? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for that beautiful piece. You know?
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. First of all, let's just begin with you know, the correlation or how art comes into play when we talk matters mental health.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. Art is the backbone of wellness. I feel like the world is so dull. When you just are in the space of operations, everything needs to be moving. It's easy to forget the cool and the fun side of life. So art is what reminds us to stay grounded. Art is what reminds us that I like your hair. That is art. I like your makeup. That is art. You're able to appreciate things that ideally, when you are in your busyness, you are unable to notice. Yeah.
So that is how it comes to play.
That's how it comes to play.
Yeah. And you know, many a times, even, you know, in relation with that, we hear people say that music heals. And you know, music is a form of art.
Yes,
Poetry is a form of art.
Yeah.
So when they say music heals, that statement in itself, maybe someone else may say it's an overstatement. You know? So in what form?
Okay, so music, I'm trying my best not to bring a lot of hormones and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but there is the oxytocin. Let me just bring that up. It's a feel-good hormone. So what happens is when you are listening to music, you are happy to listen to it. There's an energy that comes. You feel good. The world might be burning, but your heart will be at peace. Your heart is able to be grounded and just exist in the most basic of forms. So it might sound like an overstatement, but have you ever had a bad day and then you listen to music? Like the soothing, cool music, or the loud music and you burst into moves.
Yeah.
It just makes your body feel, I am here, I am seen, I relate to this song, there's something it is doing to me. Your mind is able to relax or to be excited. And that is the beauty of art. Yeah.
It is. Now, we're also going to be looking at, you know, just building safe harbors or building safe spaces for mental resilience. So maybe we can begin by just defining, when you talk about mental resilience, what exactly are we looking at?
Mental resilience is the ability to go through situations and be on the other side well. So inevitably, as long as you're in this life, one thing that is assured, stress will come. Pressure, there are those things that you cannot ideally avoid. But mental resilience is being able to go through the season, understanding that you'll find yourself on the other end. It might be the darkest of them all. It might be, I don't think I'm going to come out of this alive. But the ability to still believe that you got it in you to keep going, the ability to believe that I can do this, even if it's hard, I will be found on the other side.
Yeah. And can someone build that? Can someone build mental resilience, and how is it built?
It is built through the process. Today you have a small issue, you're able to go past it and you remind yourself, I can. And then the next time you go through a challenge, you're able to remember, I went through that and I was on the other side. So even this, it will happen step by step, day by day. Communities as well, observing, maybe you have a friend who went through, worst case scenario, a divorce or a financial drain. You saw them come out on the other end. You're able to bank on their ability. You're able to have people around you that will hold you, and you're like, okay, person X was able to go through this, so even if it's hard, there's hope on the other side. There's hope on the other side. So it keeps you going. The small steps and the ability to just pick up things from other people, slowly by slowly. It's not I sleep today, tomorrow I wake up resilient. It's today I woke up, I didn't feel like I wanted to show up, but I did it instead. And on the other end, you are able to receive resilience.
Because, you know, one may say sometimes it's easier said than done. But I like the way you're putting it. You're just saying it's a step at a time.
Yes, it is.
It's slowly by slowly.
Yes.
It's not a one-time thing.
No.
Yeah. So resilience can be built. That is, mental resilience can be built by being able to overcome one
hurdle at a time.
Yeah, one hurdle at a time, just one hurdle at a time. And with that, maybe your mind also just knows, I mean, I was able to go through that, so
even this one, I will be able. It might look like it's gonna finish me, but it won't. Yeah.
So that's the proper mindset to just keep at.
Yes.
All right, I want us to talk about Hearted Stories. You're the founder of Hearted Stories.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about what Hearted Stories is all about.
So Hearted Stories started with me. So after I finished campus, I was scared of falling into depression. So I started poetry as just an art of, I just want to share my artistic side.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you, but you were scared of falling into depression.
Yes.
Because there was something that was happening in your life, or?
Okay, so after I finished high school, I fell into depression. So these are the time when I'm finishing campus, I was scared of going back to the depressive state.
Yeah.
So when I finished campus, I was like, I need to do something that keeps me going. So Hearted Stories was birthed. Started creating poetry online. Shout out to my friends who were like, you cannot keep this in your closet anymore. You need to bring it out.
Yeah.
So I started with that. Slowly by slowly, it became a community of people who related with poetry, related with art. 4 years down the line, it's now a community where we have people all over the world who are able to relate to poetry, my kind of poetry, and as well create a space where communication, conversations take place wholeheartedly. And with no judgment, we just talk, we just laugh. If anyone is going through something, we're able to come through where we can and be a support system.
Yeah. So it's something that happens online. So it's an online community, or you also actually also go on ground?
Both. For very long, it has been online, but I think a year ago, we are creating a physical community. So we hold these walk and talks. These are a space where we meet at Arboretum, we talk, we walk, and then we talk. So we have that moment of just conversations and getting to know each other. How are you doing? I feel like we underestimate that question. How are you doing?
And you know, we usually have a cliche answer to it.
I am good.
You know, I'm good. And it feels like that's the answer we all expect. Sometimes when someone goes deeper into the answer of how are you, then it becomes awkward because you don't know what next, because you expected them to just say, I'm okay, I'm good.
I feel like that is one of the areas we try our best to ask, how are you doing? Intentionally, how are you doing? I want to listen to you. Tell me about everything that is in your heart.
Yeah.
So that is what Walk and Talk does. And we're actually having an event this Saturday at Arboretum. We also have an, I don't want to call it, a community. It's called Love in the City. It's an initiative we do with a friend of mine. So what Love in the City basically is, we go to city markets, or we've been to Thika as well, where we just hold placards reminding people of how awesome they are. And then we give them letters, little cards with affirmations to just remind them that they are incredible.
Yeah, and how has that been specifically for that particular project, where you just go on the streets and, you know, you give out letters to random people, you know, just people who are going about their business. Just how has that been? And with that, I'm asking the response, you know, what would you say the response has been to that?
Every time we do it, there's always a story that moves my heart. And last I can't remember when exactly it was, we were in Thika, and a friend of mine just went and gave a card to an older man, I think in his 40s. And that man said he was just seated there waiting for darkness so that he can go and alive himself.
Whoa.
And I think that is just one of the stories that we get to hear of people who are like, if I had not received this, then this was supposed to be my last day. And it shows how bad the mental state of people are. You might be walking around or looking at someone and you're like, they are good. Kindness is just a small, it's a fraction of how massive it can get. Being kind to someone, telling them that you're going to be okay. Texting that friend and being like, you're going to be okay. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're well. I'm praying for you. I'm loving on you. Those small acts of love Love in the City has kept reminding me of that. You'll just meet someone. I remember the first time we did Love in the City, I gave a card to someone, and after she read it, she broke down for like 30 minutes. She just cried. It was like, oh my God. I don't think we were mentally prepared for that. It was okay. What are we supposed to do? So we hugged, she just opened her heart, and she was with a friend, and the friend was like, I didn't know you were going through all these. And yeah, I think Love in the City has opened my eyes in a very, very different way.
Yeah, and just speaking about that, it also just goes to show that many people do not have safe spaces.
Yes.
You know, because as you mentioned, you just give someone this card, they get to read, and break down for like 30 minutes. And that time they were with a friend.
Yeah.
So to mean that this friend had no idea. So when we talk about just building safe spaces, building safe harbors, building a safe environment, you know, for all of us to exist and exist well mentally, what exactly are we looking at? Because you know, just that with the Project Love in the City, it's like that is what you're doing for people you didn't even expect that is what you were doing for them. So just when it comes to building these spaces, how does that look like? You know, how do we ensure that we are doing that for each other as well?
I'm big on you are only a village. You need to be a villager in the village. So in your friend group, have you created an environment where safety is? The first time you open up to your friends, it's going to be, oh my gosh, she's being too sensitive. There might be that, but slowly creating a space where you start the conversation. My friends know if I'm not well, y'all are gonna know. I'm gonna start the conversation. And that being done, it allows them to know, because Maureen has shared with me, I can also share with her. It might not even be the biggest of things.
Yeah, allow us to pick it up from there. Sorry about that. Let's take a break and then we'll be back in a short while.
Nilikuwa nimekuja kuangalia Josh na sijempata kwake.
Hajakuambia?
Ndio natafuta. Anajua kwenye anaishi. Ni siasa nitapambana nazo ama huu pumbavu wako na Monica?
Uko sure tunafaa kuonekana pamoja kweli? Wewe acha wasiwasi.
Habari yako?
Kile ambacho tutazungumza kwa hii room humu ndani kibaki hapa hapa.
Kituo unachokienzi cha KBC Radio Taifa kitakuletea tamasha kubwa la Rumba Night mjini Kakamega katika klabu ya Havana Lounge. Kikosi kizima cha KBC Radio Taifa kikiongozwa na Mfumu Kimbangu aka Mzairwa kitatua Kakamega kukutana na kusherehekea pamoja na wasikilizaji wake. Hafla hii itang'oa nanga Ijumaa tarehe 24 na Zinga Live pale Hetia Supermarket Kakamega kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa 4 asubuhi. Kisha tuelekee Emusala Special School eneo bunge la Lurambi na Malava Special Unit eneo bunge la Malava. Baadaye mida ya jioni tutajumuika Havana Lounge kwa tamasha la Rumba Night. Jumamosi tarehe 25 tutakuwa kwenye tamasha la Ramani ya Kiswahili pamoja na mwalimu Mathias Momanyi katika shule ya upili ya wasichana ya Butere. Jiunge nasi tutengeneze kumbukumbu pamoja na Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Kukosa ni makosa.
Thank you for staying with us. We are talking about poetic healing and just finding the right way for us to build safe spaces within ourselves in order for us to maintain and build mental wellness and resilience as well. Now, before we took that break, you were speaking to us about safe spaces and how that looks like in actual, sense, how that practically looks like. Yeah, so how does that look like practically?
I was mentioning about being part of a community. It starts with you being able to even share the most minute things with your friends. I'm going through this, and then slowly by slowly the relationship grows, and then you're able to have deeper conversations. But as well, there are already some few existing communities where people are having conversations with no judgment. And if you can hold on to that or tap into that, I know there are not as many. We are very limited on that. But if you're able to tap into that, then by all means, tap into that. But as well, continue to create your small community. May it be 2 or 3 friends where you can just have honest and vulnerable conversations.
Yeah, and speaking about honest and vulnerable conversations and creating communities, maybe what are the proper conversations that you should be having specifically concerning emotional well-being? What are the right conversations? There's one that you had already mentioned, whereby you ask someone, how are you doing? And you actually mean it. You have time to get to sit down and listen to them. So what are these conversations that we should be having?
Literally anything. Anything. It starts with that one question, how are you doing? And how can I show up for you? So often than not, someone might be knowing how they're feeling, but the next action point, they have no idea. Or how do I show up for you in a way that you feel loved? Now, they might not be able to express that immediately, but at least they know there's an avenue. If I ever need person X to come through for me, they will. But as well, as a friend, maybe you come and share with me, you're going through something. I know how best, because you're my friend. I know what makes you feel okay. I know something that you absolutely love. So those small actions of how are you doing, how can I show up for you, know that I am here for you, and the small things that make the other person happy and make them feel seen, do them.
Yeah. You know, reports actually show that there are now higher levels of anxiety within ourselves, specifically within the younger generation. There are higher levels of loneliness, and you know, looking at technology and social media and what it does to us, it allows us to connect with each other, yes. But then again, reports show that we have higher levels of loneliness and you know, anxiety, stress, and all that. What would be your take on that? What is happening, and how can we be able to avert the situation?
Social media is incredible, but there is the aspect of people are more connected online than they are physically. I want to talk to you, I'll just do a phone call with you for hours, but it lacks the physical aspect of it. So people are zoning into their zone of just social media. But here's the thing, if I don't want to talk to you, I'll just hang up on you. But physically, we need to talk. We will talk. So social media is incredible, but it has made us lose the physical touch and there's power in looking into someone's eyes. There's power of just holding each other's hand and reminding you, I'm here for you. So there is the aspect of comparison of you're online, you're scrolling, a friend of yours you were with in high school, they're doing better than you. You were with in campus, they're doing better than you. There's no one you're gonna have that conversation with. You're just gonna soak it in and be like, well, maybe I'm a failure. And then you'll have a conversation with Vivian on a call. I don't have time to tell you about person X and how their post has made me feel. Not even from a point of jealousy, but from a point of I sort of felt like I'm behind. Let's talk about that. There's no avenue for that because you are calling me with an agenda. We are here to talk about this agenda and then proceed. There's no room for the nitty-gritty, the small conversations that are really hard. So yeah, I feel like that is part of the reason why we are losing connection as much as we feel like we are connected online.
Yeah, and how can we be able to avert that? And is there a possibility for that? Am I Imenda?
No, I don't believe Imenda. I think it is more about intentionality. We need to be more intentional with ourselves. And you might not even be doing it for the other person. It's for you. You leaving your house is for you. You going out, even for coffee and just looking at people pass by, it's for you. Having that random conversation, being like, hey, I'm around. Okay, people say don't call me when you're around my area. You just finish your business and go home. But the fact that you are able to just sit down with someone and talk and connect. There is, my point is, the intentionality part of it. You need to do it. It's no longer a want anymore. We do not negate that. Most jobs right now are virtual. Most of our things that used to bring us outside, if you were used to go to a restaurant to eat, you can just order in. Life has been made easier. But it has now made the conversation closer home. We need to be more intentional with others and with ourselves. Yeah.
And speaking about us being more intentional, I agree with you on that, because I feel like we are now living at a time where people are big on mind your own business, you know, and it is something that, you know, you keep hearing, just mind your own business. You need to mind your business. You know, they even play around. Someone tells you have good skin. It's like, it's because I'm minding my business and drinking my water. So, you know, when it comes to this minding your business, I think that we are minding our business too much to the point where you forget the next person. You can easily be walking in the CBD and you see maybe a lady or a gentleman maybe seated down and they look distressed or even crying, but no one will actually even try to talk to her. And this is an experiment that has been done where someone just walks around with their camera and they pretend that this is happening to them, and no single person stops to even check if you're okay. I mean...
People are minding their business a bit too much. I love that.
Yeah.
I feel I'd love to look at it in two ways. There's so much conmanship around. So there's also that fear. But as well, there is, I just love instincts. I love instincts. If your instincts tell you, please reach out to this person, or you can just get 2 or 3 people to, hey, I feel like that person is not well, can we check up on them? But when it comes to interpersonal, like, I know you, Vivian, I know you, and I have been seeing your post maybe twice or thrice and you're not well, or maybe you are this jovial person and you're no longer as jovial, that is not the point to mind your own business. I have seen people who, and it's a joke that goes around, someone unalives themselves and everyone is posting, I wish you had talked to me, I wish you had talked to me. Darling, they were posting, or they disappeared for a month, or they were extremely, that's another thing, maybe they were extremely excited about nothing. They were just happy because that's another sign.
Oh, that's also a sign?
That could be a sign.
When someone is just too happy.
They are suspiciously too happy. They might be hiding something.
Yeah.
Actually, those are some of the final signs of someone who is unwell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that can easily be missed because you seem okay.
Yeah.
And you know, you even hear these statements, maybe after someone gets to unalive themselves, you hear that how, you know, it was so difficult to know because she seemed okay, she was happy, she was going out with the...
Yeah. People will say, check up on your extroverted friends. Because it's rare for them to come and tell you.
But then again, where do we draw the line and how am I able to know? Because say I already know someone is extroverted and that's their personality. That is who they are. It's not like they've changed all of a sudden. So where do I draw that line between knowing that, okay, this is just you being who you are, or this is a call for help?
There's something called passive. It starts with knowing them. Knowing them in, I don't want to say in totality, but knowing who they are as a person. There's something we call passive suicidality. So passive suicidality is jokes. I might say, hey, hii dunia inanibo. Hata nikienda pale nigongwe na ile gari, haitakuwa mbaya. It's very, we're going to laugh about it.
Yeah.
It's, wewe wacha hiyo mchezo. Let's continue. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Until it's something that is cooking in their mind. It may not also be that. There is also the aspect of their statements. Knowing your friend, there are statements that people make, or they might trip on something. Maybe they're this happy person that used to eat a lot. Right now, they're not eating. That is question marks. Or they're still the happy person, but they are not sleeping well. question marks. There's a likelihood that they will slide on something. And that is the moment you as a friend, you're supposed or you are advised to catch them. Or just remind them that they are seen. It might not be, you have the whole perfect explanation of why I am checking up on you. Because if you go to someone, I'm like, you're not okay. They might be like, Tulia.
Back off.
Back off.
Yeah.
But the frequent, hi, how are you doing? Let's talk, let's go out for coffee, let's catch up. It shows that there's someone who actually cares for them. There's actually someone who loves them. They might not open up to you in totality, but they know at the back of their mind, if anything ever comes in their mind, they know they have Vivian that they can reach out to.
Yeah. Would you say we are more open to therapy now?
Absolutely.
To how we were maybe 10 years ago?
We are getting there. We are definitely getting there. The conversations are being warmed up. I am tempted to say that these conversations are majorly happening in Nairobi. So there's need to take these conversations up country, outside Nairobi. But in Nairobi, they are being accepted. Yeah.
Yeah. So people are more open to therapy right now. So we are headed in
the right
direction as we speak. So now, as we finalize on the conversation, you know, we were talking also about, we were including art into all of this. And, you know, how do we know when art has actually helped heal? And versus it having just, you know, just allowed me to avoid the emotion. You know, maybe I was feeling sad and then my happy song plays and I'm happy again. So how do you differentiate? Is it even possible to know, you know, to draw that line of it's just helped you mask this emotion and then you'll get back to it?
Beautiful, that's a good question. I don't think, for example, what should we use? Music. Music is probably meant to bring out the happy hormone, like you're happy, yes.
Yeah.
But after the feeling happy and excited, the actionability of now life is good, now we can face the challenges that are ahead of us. It makes you feel excited. Now you're able to go past it, to get actionables past just the feeling good part of it. But we have deeper arts, like this might be very biased, but poetry for me, there's also painting, there's drawing. It gives you a chance to think longer. It gives you a chance to come up with thoughts and ideas. So maybe you're going through a situation and you pick up, for me, I pick up my paper and my pen. I will write everything that is going on in my mind. And after that, I'll probably live there with actionables of, so this is the situation I'm in. This is what I'm feeling. It is not a standalone thing. It takes a lot of intentionality and work as well. Maybe therapy, maybe community, maybe all that. But through it, you're also able to get your thoughts in order. It helps you arrange your thoughts.
I love that. I would like for you to give us your final remarks on the conversation.
Remarks or piece?
You wanted to do a piece?
Okay, let me do my remarks and then a piece.
You do a piece.
Yes.
Perfect.
My final remarks, your mental health matters. Your mental health matters. There's no health without mental health. And as much as society has made it look like the other health, the way you will fall sick and have a migraine and go to the hospital is the exact same way. You'll need to go and make sure that your mental health is well. Yeah.
I love that. Give us a piece.
Please stay. Please stay when your heart is crashing. Please stay when your mind is wandering. Please stay when you're not sure of what the next step looks like. Please stay when everything feels like it's falling apart. Please stay. Please stay through all the seasons. The future can only be better, even if right now it looks a bit dark. You are incredible, you are awesome, you're powerful. With love.
I love that. Please stay.
Please stay.
Oh, that is so, it's so deep. You know, just please stay, no matter what
Yeah.
may be happening in your life. Oh, we have visitors. Oh, you took it.
Please
you
stay.
took it very literal. Please stay. You decided you're coming back on set. So my colleagues are here so that we can finalize on the show, Victor.
All right. So you did a piece
Yes.
on mental health.
Yes.
Let's do a mashup.
Okay.
Start.
My
Give us a line.
goodness,
Start.
my
Give us a line.
goodness.
Okay.
Mike, pick one.
Oh, we are all doing it.
Let's create something.
Okay. We're starting with please stay.
Please
All
stay.
right, please stay.
Please stay. The world is definitely a better place with you in it.
Please stay. Even if the going gets tough, you are tougher than the going itself.
Your well-being can't be a well-being without your mental well-being.
And that is please stay.
I love that.
And that is please stay. I mean, we've talked about mental health for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those things that people suffer silently about. But why is it that it's only men who suffer mental health?
I don't think it's only men. Maybe we can say
On a scale of 100?
So here's the thing, statistically, okay, is it statistic? Yeah, statistically, women reach out for help more, but men die by suicide more.
Okay. Men speak about their problems less
less.
than
Yes.
ladies.
We all go through it,
Yeah.
but women speak more about
Yeah.
it than men do.
So it's possible that you can also talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Can you start?
You-
Can you?
Yeah, please stay.
Please stay.
Please stay. Okay, we had a good show today, and of course we talked about the matrix, the 2027 matrix. My guest talked about what's the regional balance, talked about the the broad-based government, how it's going to affect the numbers, who is who, and all that. So yes, the choice is yours. Whoever you're going to vote for come next election, which is just slightly over 1 year to now, from now, that is going to be your choice. The only thing I can always tell you is just make an informed choice. It's as simple as that. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, on our segment, we talked about how SMEs can survive the high costs and competing globally, even with the AFCFTA. But one thing that has come out very strongly is the fact that competition should be allowed to enhance innovation for these SMEs, even as we talk about value addition and other things. That comes out very strongly.
Yeah, great conversations have happened on the show today, and this is how we do it each and every weekday morning. This is how we usually do it. And you know, since we are in the spirit of mental wellness, I would like to also pose questions to you, actually all of you, just to let us know, how do you ensure that you are taking care of your mental well-being, especially for you gentlemen? How do you ensure? You know, for me, how I do it, I make my hair and I feel good.
You make your hair?
Yes. For us, it can be something as simple as that. I make my hair. I ensure my nails are looking good. I speak to my friends.
In other words, you do things that make you feel good about yourself.
So that's my self-care.
So how many times do you make your hair then? That will tell us how many times you get depressed.
Okay. Not literally every time I make my hair, I'm going through something. No, but I'm just saying that's part of my self-care. And as human beings, I believe we all should have self-care moments. Because, I mean, life throws so many curveballs at us. So aside from just the literal ones that I've said about making my hair and all that, also art for me is a form of looking after my well-being. Music. I start my day with music. Yes, just calming. It depends with how the day. If you hear me with really loud
yes, but for those people who know me, you know I love rumba. I love rumba. And by the way, what I'm listening to right now, I'm listening to one of the oldest songs, which I think was done in 1970 something by Franco.
I need your playlist.
Yeah.
But I love taking a walk and listening to calming music. That really brings the pressure down. There is something that
lakini pressure ikiingia Mike na ingianga bwana.
No, pressure ikiingia. But
unajita mkutano in the streets, you have a meeting with enough quorum, minutes taken in your head, you know, and AOB.
Yeah, but for me, taking a walk and listening to calm music works.
Yeah. So for you, it's the rumba.
For me, I love listening to music. And by the where the last break will take me, even in Moyale, that's where I will stop. So, yeah, we all have medicine. I chose my...
The fact that you all have said music has put a question mark, but we are not going to judge.
No. Go ahead.
For me, I think it's community. Hanging out with my people is where it's at. Besides that, I write. Oh, yeah, I write. I can write. Yeah, it brings me back.
So that's just that. Just the importance of knowing what you do to replenish yourself. That is enough, actually. Just know what you can do to replenish yourself, and that would be good enough. All right, and that is how we get to finalize today's Good Morning Kenya. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who has been tuned in. My name is Vivian Degwa, and I was here alongside my colleagues.
Victor Olo.
And
Maureen.
My
name is Mike. We're going to enjoy the rest of your view.
All right.
Goodbye.
Kwa nini ulipotea kazi ya polisi huko unazunguka kwa nyumba za watu ukiwauliza maswali?
Nini inaendelea kati yako, Sam, Yasin, Biko na Marvin?
Ni wana biashara
Unajua nini kuhusu mzigo ya Yasin yenye ilipotea?
Mzigo gani?
Mlikuwa watu wawili tu na tulikuwa mnajua location ya hiyo mzigo, Mark.
Sasa unajaribu kusema nini Tutakujiwa hadi wenye manzee Marvin ajui kuhusu.
How about you give me more responsibilities now that we are working together and all?
I was thinking we slow things down.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Well, we are coming to you live from the Parliament buildings in Nairobi this Wednesday morning, the 22nd day of the month of July, the year 2026. This is the Senate plenary sitting, live proceedings streaming from the Senate chambers. This is a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.